What up, everybody? This is Jay Chi-Town, and today I'm going to be talking about something that I find very, very interesting and very deceptive. It's the devious art of lying by telling the truth. So I'm going to break it down on how this tactic or this agenda is being used today to mislead people. So if you're not spiritually conscious on the tactics of deception, you can actually fall victim to this tactic. You ever heard the saying, sticks and stones may break your bones, but names will never hurt you? Well, names, words are very powerful and they do hurt. So that statement is not true. It's actually a lie in itself. So I say that to say this, that we find on especially YouTube and also on internet websites, but mainly on YouTube, you have a lot of truth speakers, a lot of truthers that are out there exposing the transgender agenda, exposing Illuminati puppets. I mean, that's great. I mean, their videos are beautifully well spoken and designed to expose all these satanic things that are going on today. But what we got to be careful of is the art of their teaching. There's a lot of truthers out there, and I'll just be straight up and blunt. There's a lot of truthers out there that use an abundance of profanities. You have to ask yourself, why are they using an abundance of constant profanity words? Constant. I mean, just dropping the F bomb and, you know, get the F out of here. I'm not perfect. Okay. And I'm going to get into some definitions of things that, I'm not perfect. I've used the profanity words, and generally when someone uses a profanity words, it may be out of anger, and I can truly say, me being imperfect, that's about when I would use the profanity words, and sometimes I slip even today, but the difference is you don't make it a practice to do that. A lot of these truthers out here, they make a big practice out of using that profanity. So you may be asking yourself, well, why is he bringing this up? Cursing is a very serious thing. And I'm going to break it down to you. So you want to ask yourself, the person that's using these words and also giving you truth, you ought to be very cautious of them. And I'm going to break that down. So this article I found very interesting. If you go down here, it gives you an example of this tactic that's being used. So it says the statement becomes clearer when you realize that we probably all done it. A classic example might be if your mother asks you if you finished your homework and you respond, I've written an essay on Tennessee Williams for my English class. So this may be true, but it doesn't actually answer the question about whether your homework was done. The essay could have been written a long time ago, and you've misled your mother with a truthful statement. You might not have even started your homework yet. And if you go down to the next paragraph, misleading by telling the truth is so persuasive in daily life that it is a new term has recently been employed by psychologists to be described as paltering. So if you take that word paltering, spelled Paltering, take that P away, and what do you have? Altering. So you're making an alteration to something. Okay? Very, 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 very deceptive. So when someone is just blasting profanities all through their video, but yet they're exposing truth, They're paltering. We must be very careful, and we got to ask ourselves when we're listening to it, yeah, you really want to know the exposure of a transgender actor or celebrity, and that gets your attention. But what's actually being done is the paltering is actually numbing you to the fact that you're exposing your mind to an abundance of profanities. And what is that going to do in the long term? You're going to start cursing. You ever heard a mother, maybe a friend or some acquaintance, using the F bomb with a small child? And how does that make you feel when you hear that? Like, go in there and clean your effing room. I mean, that sounds so abusive to me. All right, so I'm saying that because when we are listening to someone that's constantly giving you that, it gives you whose spirit? Is it going to give you the Most High spirit? You think the Most High would use those words? Or his son when speaking truth? All right, let's go further. Bear with me as I break this down for you guys. Very important on who we're listening to out here. All right, so the word curse, a Sodom utterance intended to invoke a supernatural power to inflict harm or punishment on anyone or something. An offensive word or phrase used by express anger or annoyance. Invoke or use a curse against. Utter offensive words in anger or annoyance. So I get it. You're out here, you're trying to expose transgender, Illuminati puppets, but you're using an abundance of profanities. Why? Why? Okay? Why so aggressive in your teaching, speaking, and your teaching tactics? I mean, what is this employing upon your listener? If you listen to any of my videos, and I'm going to just tell you, I'm not perfect. Okay, I cannot cast the first stone. But there's a difference when you're practicing something that can cause a person to alter their way of speaking. And next thing you know, you're dropping F-bombs. I have to actually minimize, and it's almost to the point where I can't even listen to a certain truther. He just constantly dropping profanities. And I'm sorry, I'm going to speak on it. Okay. And when I speak, I speak with braveness and courage. And if this particular person is listening to this video, I welcome you to come to me, because I fear no man. I it's not by men, it's by the Most High that I walk. Okay? So when the Spirit comes on me to speak against someone I see that is paltering the message tactic, I got to speak on it. Let's go. Now, there's a scripture in James chapter 3. And if you look at the first verse, it says, "Not many should become teachers, my brothers, knowing that we all receive a strictly judgment. For we all stumble in many ways. If anyone does not stumble in what he says, he is a mature man who is also able to control his body." Go down to verse 10. "Praising and cursing come out of the same mouth, my brothers. These things should not be this way. Does a spring pour out sweet and bitter water from the same opening? No." So you got to ask yourself, someone is speaking sweet words. Sweet, we want to say sweet in reference that to truth. That's a sweet things that should come out of your mouth. Sweet is something that is positive and spiritual. Sweet can actually purify something that is contaminated. Um, so the bitter part is contamination. So you're mixing sweetness and bitterness coming out of the same fountain. Something's wrong there. There should be two fountains, one sweet and one bitter. And I would rather drink from the sweet fountain. You got to ask yourself, the person that's producing these profanities, where it's actually that bitterness is coming from their what? From their heart. And we all know the heart is treacherous, okay? So listen to what I'm saying here, and then I'm going to try to go ahead and conclude this. Is that reason I'm bringing this up because, like I said, there's truthers out there that are using this tactic. So let's see here. I want to bring out some pictures here. As we know here, the serpent in the Garden of Eden, he was very deceptive. And he used this tactic of the art of using deception with truth. Remember, and I brought this up several times in other videos, that when he said to Adam and Eve, you positively will not die if you eat this fruit. Okay? You positively would not die, for God knows that you would become like him, knowing good and bad. So he was speaking truth there when he said the Most High will know, the Most High knows that if you eat this fruit, you would become like him, knowing good and bad. Okay, so that was the truth part. The lie was that you would not die. And we all know that Adam and Eve died. Okay, so anybody that's using this tactic, they get this tactic from their father, who is Satan. It's an old banana in the tailpipe trick, y'all. Okay, I'm just telling you. I'm gonna wrap this video up. You know, here's a list of uh, words, profanities that I find this chart interesting, and it has all the profanities right here. Okay, I'm not trying to promote cursing, but if you look at all these words over in the U.S., starting from the top, and you just scroll through, do you find these words comfortable? Do you find them pleasant? I mean, you might be saying, oh, he's beating a dead horse or he's just reaching. No. We can't be speaking truth and following and being examples if we're using these words. That these words are originating from Satan. And I've heard people say, oh, the F word is not bad. Okay. If someone is using these words to express anger or using these words as a defilement, I mean, you may not say it's a defilement, but it's known to be words of defilement to put someone down, you know. So why would we want to use those in anything that we do? If we know that these words are used to describe something sexually explicit or something that's used in road rage, get the F out of the way. I mean, when you use these words, you're invoking a bad spirit. And if we're listening to someone that's constantly throughout the whole video, I mean, I can't listen to the video because it's invoking a bad spirit. But if you use words of pleasantness, and then you're reaping whose spirit? Fruitages of the Spirit, the Most High. And those are words that bring peace and subtleness. And you can still get your point across. I have a very small view status on my YouTube page, and that's okay. I'm not out here trying to get likes and subscriptions or subscribers. That's not me. I'm here to point out any deception that's going on, and hopefully people can use this video to wake up to deceptive teachers out here. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up. I just wanted to show you this picture that I'm saving to my record here, to my library. And what this is a wolf in sheep's covering. So that's what basically the tactic, mixing with deception with truth. As you can see that this sheep is mixed with wolf. So definitely take into consideration what I'm saying to you, brothers and sisters, that be very careful of this art of teaching, because it is becoming very prevalent on YouTube and all on the internet. All right, everybody, stay spiritually strong in this spiritual warfare that we're going through. More videos to come. Jay Shytown, I'm out.